Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Matter of Fact. I'm Tommy here with my main man Rob, and today we going we're gonna talk about some hot topics. We might get a few of y'all uncomfortable or whatnot. We gonna talk about multiculturalism and how it's a bad idea.
No bueno.
This is a video by PragerU. As always, it'll be linked in the description. But before we even get into this, I haven't watched like any of it at all. Like, what do you think this is about to be about?
Well, it's by a guy who that we watched before. This Konstantin Kliznik guy, or whatever they call him. But he's good. I think it's from that trigonometry channel. And I think he has a lot of really good points in this. And, it's a lot of people don't want to hear it. They don't want to admit it. That doesn't mean it's not true.
Word, bad. So without further ado, we about to get straight into it.
Bad ideas never seem to die. Multiculturalism is one of them. Wait a second, I can hear you saying, multiculturalism is a beautiful idea. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, would agree with you. He never tires of saying that diversity is our greatest strength. In Australia, people from all sides of the political spectrum talk proudly of being the most successful multicultural society in the world. In Europe and the US, we are told to celebrate multiculturalism, or else be branded a xenophobe, a racist, or both. And what, after all, is the problem with a society made up of different people all coming together to pull in the same direction? The answer is nothing.
Just off the back, I want to make a quick reaction too. So I'm doing this master's program right now in technical entrepreneurship. And yesterday we had a bunch of Germans, Ruhr fellows. You ever heard of that? Ruhr? It's like this, fellowship where Germans, they come to America and they do internships at these different companies or whatever. And actually, one of the things we were talking about yesterday was discrimination. Like we listed out the most important things to us, that problems we wanted to solve, and one of them was discrimination, and we had to ideate on how to solve that. And I put on the board, I was like, yeah, maybe we should talk about race less, or we should look at the differences we have as strengths rather than always trying to say we're all the same, we're all one people, whatever. And I'll tell you, these motherfuckers got so pissed that I had that mind frame.
Well, Germany's feeling it right now. They're in the heat of it. That's why Europe is much worse than it is here in America. So they probably, especially Germany, because they gambled and they said, yeah, no, we're going to bring them all in. Come on in. We invite you here. And they really opened their doors, and now they're really regretting that.
So, no, not these Germans.
I guess these are the educated, progressive Germans, so maybe they're on that side of the thing. But I know the country is, and Europe as a whole is really struggling by bringing in, all of these immigrants, a lot of them working age males or military age males, whatever you want to call it, and they're not working though. So think about that. They're either going to be welfare and they have nothing to do. It's nothing but problems. So just any society. That's been proven back since the beginning of time.
Yeah. If y'all want to hear a little more on that, make sure you go watch our Spain video where an elderly man got beat up by an immigrant, and that sparked a lot of protest and stuff.
Not what multiculturalism means. It's not at all about pulling in the same direction. Multiculturalism is about people coming to the West and forming their own communities with their own rules and practices. In the eyes of multiculturalists, e pluribus unum, out of many one, the great goal of America, and until now the great achievement of America, is just another form of colonialism. It imposes...
What do you think about that?
That's
kind of facts.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. And we weren't always like that as a country here in America, where it was just like, yo, come and do whatever you want. There was assimilation that was necessary to be in America.
Literally.
You know what I mean? It was pretty much forced upon you. Now it's like, oh, you can do whatever, stay in your community, do your own thing, speak your own language. We'll write the papers. We'll have to accommodate you, is what we're doing now.
Literally.
And I don't know when that change happened, but I don't think it was a good one, you know?
So you think we should still be having people assimilate? See, but this is the thing about America for me is like how what does it mean to be American? Like, what is an American identity? We are a country made up of varying political just mindsets, of varying races, of various cultures and identities. Like, what is American culture? Is it the 4th of July? Is it fireworks and burgers? Like, is that our culture that you need to assimilate?
I think there's a lot of no, definitely not. That's not necessarily what we're looking to. But just in terms of certainly cultural norms, art walls, and things like that. In terms of how you treat people. If you don't believe that women are equal, well, you better start fucking believing in this country. That sort of shit. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be raping little girls and shit like that and saying, it's my religion. Nah, motherfucker, that ain't cool. If that's your religion, then stay where you do that shit. You ain't doing it here. And that's just the way it's gotta fucking be. And then also, I mean, first of all, to get citizenship, you do have to pass a test. So you do have to know a little bit about the history of the United States and stuff like that. Yeah. And by knowing that, it kind of gives you a sense of our founding beliefs, hopefully. But yeah, I think it's harder to say today because we allowed this multiculturalism to permeate so much through our society that it dilutes the true American culture.
American and Western values on the non-Western immigrants who come here. Immigrants, therefore, need to cling to the cultures of the countries from which they came and stay separate. Instead of e pluribus unum, the multiculturalists advocate for e pluribus pluribus, out of many, many. It's true that we live in multi-ethnic societies, that is, societies that are home to people from different ethnic and religious backgrounds, and that can bring huge benefits. Talented immigrants come to the West to open businesses, pay taxes, and start families. The founder of NVIDIA is from Taiwan. The CEO of Microsoft is from India. Elon Musk is from South Africa.
That's scary.
Yeah, and that's also this is like people will use well, look at all these immigrants. Look at them. No, these are not your average immigrants. First of all, these are not your average people on the planet. Yeah. Right there, you're listing 3 of the most wealthy people on the planet. You're talking the 0.1% is who he's identifying here. Is that the majority of people coming across the border? Absolutely not.
They're not even coming across the border.
And these guys, they all did it legally. Yeah, they weren't smuggled. They didn't come illegally. They were welcomed into our country. Well, and if that's what's occurring, it's usually a little bit different because they already are educated. They probably already have some money and things like that.
Well, and I mean, also with that, I would say, for someone like Elon Musk, I don't see him talk about South Africa at all. He's adopted the American identity. I feel like he likes being American, and that's he's ran with it. So, I mean, I don't know if that's what we're looking for in immigrants or whatever, but, I mean, that is a very different thing from being a rich Indian billionaire and you're Indian and not American.
The other thing, though, is these people, what makes them American and why they probably love America is because it gave them the life that they have, right? They don't have their life unless they do it in America, 9.5 times out of 10, right?
No, that's real.
So you'd be loving America, too, if it made you a billionaire. Yeah, you're happy motherfuckers. You better not be sad.
Richest motherfucker on earth.
Exactly.
But multiculturalism is the exact opposite of this multi-ethnic merging, the e pluribus unum idea. It's about encouraging immigrants not to merge. American liberals have always looked to Sweden as the kind of society they want America to emulate. Crime-free with a generous welfare system, free healthcare, and free college education. But that Sweden was a cohesive society based on shared values, one language, and social solidarity. No longer. Today, the Swedish dream looks more like a Swedish nightmare. Over 2 million of Sweden's 10 million people are now foreign-born, more than double the number in 2000. This experiment has not gone well. Sweden now has the highest rate of gang killings in Europe. Several areas are officially classified as especially...
Try to do something nice. Backfired.
Rob is racist, y'all. Like, y'all just
How?
gotta know that.
He just told you the facts. Why is that bad?
We don't know if the gang people is from other countries.
They absolutely are. The cause and effect. We was doing good. We was idyllic society. Immigrants came. We're not anymore. There's gangs. There's killings. Who do you think are doing those? The idyllic society turned into gangs? No, it's the new people. It's the white people. Nah, it ain't. Obviously, it ain't.
Meaning areas where it is very difficult for the police to operate. The governor of the Bank of Sweden told the Financial Times the growing crime problem is so serious it risks damaging the country's long-term economic growth. The problem is not confined to Sweden. All over Europe, crime is up sharply. One of the primary reasons is multiculturalism. In Britain, hundreds of thousands of young women and girls have suffered horribly at the hands of so-called grooming gangs, groups of men from ethnic minority backgrounds who target vulnerable girls for sexual abuse. When this abuse is reported to the authorities, instead of bringing the perpetrators to justice, these crimes are covered up by social workers, police officers, and the local government officials who are afraid of being called racist.
See, all right. I think that this guy's making a lot of good points. I think, like, there's truth in what he's saying. But I also feel like there's two sides to it. And I feel like this is, like, kind of what the liberals try and get at. And, like, why they disparage kind of, like, videos like these and, like, people with these sentiments is because, like, I feel like what he's trying to paint is this picture of, like, all immigrants are bad. There's no need to have them. Like, why even do them? They're just out here raping the women of your country, yada, yada. It seems like a very right, I don't want to say far right, but, edging towards far right sentiment that he's given. Although I do, like, recognize some of the things he's saying may have validity or do have validity.
Yeah, no, and you could see that. Like I said, this is definitely an inflammatory topic here. A lot of people are going to have their viewpoints. But what he's saying, not necessarily, is that those people shouldn't be here, right? He's not necessarily saying that. They shouldn't be here and able to do that, because that's their culture. They might abuse women and do that and do this. They might have gang culture in their culture, but you don't bring that here.
Yeah.
That's what I think he's trying to say. But a lot of people will misconstrue it and just take it as all negative. He's trying to say, no, if you come here, you can act like Elon Musk. You don't groom our children. You don't beat people up. Go ahead and make a business. Okay, that's Americanism. That's America. Business.
This nigga not even American.
Be an entrepreneur. He's actually Russian, and he lives in England.
So this nigga is one of the people he's talking about.
I think he'll tell you about his story.
Right.
The way multi-ethnic societies can work is if we all play by the same rules and live by the same basic moral values. People like me, who come from other places, must be encouraged to assimilate. Immigrants must learn the language, adapt to local customs, and become full citizens with both rights and responsibilities. The onus should be on the immigrant, not the host country. At my doctor's office in East London, I regularly encounter paperwork that's been translated into a dozen languages. It's not what assimilation looks like. When I first moved to England, my parents discovered that I had made friends with other Russian-speaking kids at my school. Well, they said, if that carries on, we'll have to find you a new school.
Damn. So, I mean...
Hard. True.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree.
Everything good in life doesn't come easy. The easy way is usually definitely not the best way. I'll tell you that.
But I don't know. There's so much history rooted in all this stuff that, like, people could get into that you realize why these countries that now we're being told we gotta assimilate into because our country sucks. Well, it's because these direct countries directly impacted our host countries and made it terrible. So, like, I think this is, like, a very convoluted subject. And, like, there's validity on both sides, but I don't agree, like, I don't know, like, I agree with the sentiment, but I think like, damn, as a kid, you can't have any of your old heritage. I think that's crazy.
No, you can't.
The nigga just said his parents was like, yeah, you can't even speak Russian.
They noticed that I was making all Russian friends. You know what I mean? And that he wasn't assimilated.
That's not. They said they noticed I had Russian speaking friends.
Mostly Russian speaking friends, he said. So, and that's not what they wanted, because if he continued to go in that direction, then he was going to segregate himself, which is what happens too much in our society today. Is people segregate themselves. It's like, nope, I can't speak your language. Sorry. Oh, nope. Okay, well, we can't communicate. There we go. And the more that permeates, then obviously we're going to have, pockets of society that can't coexist together because, so
they don't
belong together.
If we adapted this to the situation in Israel, are you saying that the people in Gaza and all the Iranians, they should just be like, fuck it, let's assimilate and be Jewish? Because they have the power, they have the economic standard.
That is a totally different story. But because they're their own countries. So Israel shouldn't be in their business because that's not their business.
Or what about Gaza specifically?
That's differently. And same thing, Gaza is its own country. Like
Gaza is not its own country.
Well, Gaza is its own. It's its own. It's a clear territory. It has borders and things like that. You know where it is. You know what I mean? So there's that. And obviously it is so supposed to be under Israel's control. But whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. To justify what's going on there is a totally different sort of story, I think.
I just think that's the end goal
there's no
of this.
Immigration involved there, though. Those people have been there, and you're just trying to kill them and get rid of them. That's different. It's like they didn't come there. They've been there, and you just don't want them there. But it's not like they came to your country. You came to their country. That's what happened in Israel's case. Facts. Israel didn't exist until they came there and took it and made it. So this is mine now. So yeah, those people were there when you got there. Just like animals and all that shit was here when we got here. Indians were here, we killed them. Took it. It's ours now. That's how America came. It's not Native America's. No, it's America.
So that's Israel's then.
Exactly. That's how they did it then. The facts is the facts, bro. I'm not lying. Yeah, they did that. That's how it happened. They came in, they did it, they took it, and now it's theirs.
But is that right? Is that right for...
exists.
No, that's real. That's real. But is it right for, let's say, it's been like 60, 70, 80 years since Israel's been a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it right for now we're forcing the Gazians that live, that's their land, you feel me, to...
I don't.
But I think that's just like the Israel situation is like what he's kind of getting towards is like it's on that trajectory. It's not the same thing. I don't want to say it's the same thing, but it's the same sentiment almost to me. Like it's very similar in the way of like, like I don't like this. Like this guy's in England, and like. He's like assimilate. What if you're coming from a place that England directly?
Then don't come there, bro. Then don't go there. Go somewhere else. There's how many countries in the world? Then don't pick the one you don't like. If you don't like that one, don't go. That's how you work in life. You know what I mean? If you can't find something you don't like, and then there's probably a problem with you, not everybody else. Facts.
So you think colonialism is fine?
If you are living your life based on colonialisms, the 1800s, then yes, you have a problem. Yeah, if you are going to live your life based on what happened 100 years before you were ever born, then that's something you need to probably talk to your therapist.
That's real. That's real.
Your therapist.
I agree with that, but do you think we still live in a colonial society?
Not in the sense of colonialism. I mean,
Really?
the true essence of that was,
America's not still doing that?
Maybe we should do more of that, to be honest with you. But, they abandoned it.
That's crazy.
Much of the world was divvied up within countries of Europe. That's how it worked, right? A lot of South America, they divvied it up. This is ours, this is theirs, this is theirs, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And the same thing with a lot of areas of Asia and whatnot. You know what I mean? The Philippines, the U.S., that was ruled over Philippines for how long until they decided, okay, now we're going to give that up to the actual Filipino people. It was like, and that's what a lot of them did, you know what I mean? Like Haiti, Dominican Republic, all that shit. They were all conquered by the Europeans during the time of colonialism. And after a while, colonialism is, okay, this isn't as easy as it sounds. because of the assimilation and that sort of stuff. And essentially, it's like we have to come here, conquer, and enslave these people, which they did for a long time, and then they realized, like, okay, this isn't necessarily sustainable or worth it.
But I don't know. Like a lot of these first world countries, their economic um, their economic foundation came directly from resources that they stole and pillaged from these people that are now having to flee their own home countries to then come and get opportunity. And I understand what you're saying. Like you don't go there if you don't fuck with it. I get that. But at the same time,
you don't fuck with it.
It's a balance.
The
It's a balance.
economic
It's a
gains
balance.
that
It's a
occurred
balance.
during the 1800s compared to the economic gains that occurred in the last 50 years, the last 50 years probably crushes the 1800s by 1,000 times.
That literally.
So I mean, whatever you did in the past, those years aren't really what set them up.
Yes, it is, because that's what set them up to be able to make those moves 50 years ago. They go crazy.
What happened to France? What happened to all those countries? They're not the dominant power anymore. Why? Because world wars happen, things like that.
Who's the dominant? Who would you say the dominant power?
You know what I mean? That those things today.
Yeah.
The dominant powers are clearly China and America. You know, America's number one, but yeah, those are the number two, the two. Clear number two, and that's tier one, and then anybody else is in a separate tier. Those are the top two in a clear tier of their own. And that's facts.
Let us know in the comments what y'all think. Is multiculturalism right? Is there some parts of it that's needed? Is there some parts that's not?
Should people assimilate to the country that
that's
they
a better
come
question.
to? Or should they be able to come in there and you and the country has to assimilate to them? Which one is right?
I don't think.
And which one's more practical?
He phrased that question.
And which one? What is more practical?
Should people assimilate to the country they're going to, or are they allowed to keep parts of their own culture? Let us know in the comments what you think. This is matter of fact. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Make sure you watch the next one. Peace.